Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Okay, great. Um, okay, guys, welcome. My name is Steven. I'm a front-end web developer teaching you guys how to write code with JavaScript. Okay, so in our previous videos, we've learned about variable declarations, var, const, and let. And the one before that, we learned about data types. Okay, so on this week's video, we're going to be learning about conditionals. Okay, hope you guys are enjoying the video so far. Okay, just follow them. They're meant to be beginner friendly, so they'll take you through all of the way. Okay, right. Now, having said that, we jump into this week's tutorial. Right now, what is a conditional? So conditionals, conditionals is how we are able to program logic in JavaScript. Basically, we create conditions, then write code that is executed when those conditions are met or not met at all. There are several ways we can compare data and values. Now, so the aim of conditionals is for us to be able to create logic, write code that can work given certain conditions or given other conditions. So, for example, if I want to take a cup of coffee, I can either take that coffee provided that I have certain materials. Which one of them is coffee? So the first question to ask is there coffee? If there is a coffee, then take coffee. If there is none, then instead of taking coffee, you need to buy coffee. Get that? So stuff like that is how we're going to be doing it. And there are several ways that we can actually compare data. Alright? There are several ways that we can compare data. This video might be a lot longer than the ones that we've made before, but I will try as much as I can to. If it's too long, I'll just break it. If it's too long, I'll break it into parts, and then we can see how to proceed from there. Okay, I'm trying not to make the videos be too long because so let's jump right into it. Now, conditionals. So basically from the name, we set a condition and we write code that is supposed to be executed if the condition is met. Okay, now let's try that. Okay, now one of the first ways that we can make a conditional or write conditional statements is with what we call the if statement. Write conditional code with if statements. It's basically simple. So I'll just show you guys and I'll explain. Alright, so we start with the keyword if, then we create this brackets and then follow it up with parentheses. Right, then we write what is supposed to be executed here. So for you, I can say console.log conditionals. Conditionals are great. Right now, so we just written an if statement and we said if blue is that, run this code that says conditionals are great. There's a problem with this code. If we execute this right now, it's not going to work. As a matter of fact, if you look really close, you will see that it says, you see there's a red line under it, and if I hover, you see it says expression expected. So the code is still expecting the conditions. Now the question is, where do we put our conditions into? Simple, in between these brackets. All right. Now, what would our condition be? If you look up here, I already declared a name value, right? I already said, let my name be Steven. Now, I'm going to come to this condition and said, my name is equal to Paul. I'm going to save that. You see? So, I have just said, if my name is equals to Paul, right? Console.log conditionals are great. Now tell me, is this code supposed to work? No, of course not. Because why? My name is not Paul. My name is Steven. Let's test that out. Let's see. Node conditionals.js. It returns nothing to us. Alright. But let's change this back to Steven. and then run our code again. .js, right? See that? Conditionals are great. You see that? So we declared a value and said my name is Steven, right? Now we wrote a code that says if my name is Steven, I want you to console.log and say I want you to log conditionals are great, right? And we just saw that it worked. So we use if statements to create conditions. All right, it's really simple. So again, as a recap, I'll just comment this out there and just rewrite it again down here. Said we use the keyword if, we open a bracket, and then we add our condition. My name is equal to Steven. Then we open and close parenthesis, console.log Steven is a front end genius. Yeah, allow me to praise myself a little bit. And then if you run that again, no conditionals, don't know why I spelled that way, .js. See, Steven is a front end genius, and the code agrees with me. Alright, now what then do we do? Now we have written a code that executes if the condition is met. Now how do we write a code for when that condition is not met? Because you see, when we did this, Paul, it did not log anything. It didn't log anything. Nothing happened, right? Nothing. So now how do we write code for when that condition is not met? So let's say, oh, the value of my name is Steven. So my name is Steven, but I'm asking the computer if my name is Paul. And the computer runs and says, oh, your name is not Paul, but you didn't tell me what to do, so you're just going to be there. Right? We solve that problem using the else statement. So what do we do? It's simple. After writing our if, and I'm just going to comment this out. I'm going to copy it first, then I'm going to comment it out, and I'm going to write this here. And then we're just going to attach an else here. And this time around, we do not necessarily need to add a bracket to it. Now note that this can also come down here. So, no brainers. Okay, can be there. So now we said if my name is Paul, right? Console.log Steven is front end genius. Else, so we're saying, but if my name is not Paul, console.log Steven is a noob. I'm not sure I know what that word means, but please forgive me. I hope. You know what? I'll just change it. Steven is a great guy, because I don't know what that word really means. I've heard it somewhere. I'm not sure. Steven is a great guy. Okay. Now, so written if my name is Paul, console.log Steven is a front end genius. Else, console.log Steven is a great guy. So what happens here? What we can see here is that one of these conditions will be met. One of it must be met. So if my name is Paul, it will log Steven. Let's just run that in the console and see. Node conditionals. What am I spelling? .js. You see that should throw us Steven is a great guy. You see it? Because my name is not Paul, it runs Steven is a great guy. But if we change my name here to Steven, right, and then run the code again, what am I spelling? .js. You see, Steven is a front end genius. So in the scenario where it meets the condition, what happens? It runs Steven is a front-end genius. So you see, we've taken 2 steps. One, we now know how to set a condition, and then we now know how to set a condition, how to run a code when that condition is met, and then how to run a code when that condition is not met. So it's an alternative. Right? Now, the thing here you need to know is this. This code, this else block, would run as long as there's any other value, even if my name is not Steven. Right? So imagine we say here Paul, right? Now it checked my name is not Paul, but it ran Steven is a great guy. Okay, now what happens here, what this condition is saying is whatever else my name is, log Steven is a great guy. So it's not even checking to confirm if my name is Steven. It just knows that you have told me that if the name is Paul, then log this. If the name is Paul, so it goes, what happens that the code goes checks and says, oh, your name is Steven, not Paul, so I'm going to log Steven is a great guy. Right? Because even if I change this to Chris now and run it again, right? You see, it runs Steven is a great guy. See that? So yeah, okay. Now double equality, and I'm just going to comment this out. Now we have already used double equality, so it should be easy to explain. All right. Now you would have noticed this before, right? In the code, you must have asked yourself, why did he use 2 equal signs there? Right? Double equality is how we compare values. All right. We're saying if this is equal to this. All right. If this is equal to this. If we use only one, what we are doing is not comparison, we are assigning. Right? What we are doing here is we are reassigning this value. So this name changes from Chris to Paul. That is what we are doing. You see, we can test that out by saying, see, console.log my name. Right, my name. Alright, and then if we just test that out, so this works. You see the console log says now that my name is Paul, but remember that I already said my name here is Chris. So a single equal sign is us assigning a value, but if that value has been declared, we are now reassigning it. But when we use 2, we are comparing what is on the left with the value that we are providing on the right. So we need 2 values to be able to compare, the one on the left and the one on the right. Now there is a follow-up to the double equal sign, but we will get there. All right. Now what this is doing is that it's taking this variable name and it's checking it against the value we provided on the right and said, oh, is there a value in memory that is stored? Is there a value? Is there a reference in memory that is stored whose value is Paul? When it does that, when it checks that and sees that, oh, there is one, it returns that condition as true, and then proceeds to log this. All right. Now, so a comparison, we use double equal sign to compare 2 values. So if my name is equal to Paul, so if my name is Paul, then log this. All right. Now we're going to quickly jump. Sorry, just clear the terminal. We're going to quickly jump to the strict or triple equality, and I'll just comment this code out so that we're clean and you can see clearly I'm not confused. Now the triple equality does this. Right? You use 3. Right? You use 3. 3 equal signs. Now here is the thing, right? Here's where this is interesting. Okay, if I'll just log this to the console now so you see what's happening. Conditionals.js, right? So sorry, let me do this to Chris, right? And then conditionals.js. See, Steven is in front of Genius, so you see, right. Now the best way to understand this strict equality is, let me declare something. Let me declare another variable here. Let me say let age is equal to, let age equals to 50, right? Now let's change this to age, right? And let's call this 50, and let's just add our else statement going forward. So that's log not correct, and I'm just going to change it so that it's easier, so we cannot get confused. I'm just going to change this as correct, not correct. Okay, so now if we check, so we're checking if age is equals to 50, right? Console.log correct, else console.log not correct. Let's see what the Genius terminal. Now watch something. It says correct, right? It says it's correct, but when we change this to 3 equality, triple equality, and run that check again, it says not correct. You see that? So what happens here? What happens with this, when you use 2? It just checks it. 2 just does what we call type conversion. The 3 equality is strict, right? So it does a type conversion, and what that type conversion is that it converts the double equals converts this automatically into an age. So it changes this to a number. When you do this, it changes JavaScript type converts this value into a number before returning a result, but the strict equality checks against this. So age is supposed to be a number. It's supposed to naturally be a number, right? But when you use the triple equality, when you use the 3 equal signs, it doesn't check. When you use the double, it doesn't matter if it is a number in your condition. It just returns the value to you and says it's correct. But on the other way, when you use a triple equality, what has just happened here is that it just checks it where it says this is a number and this is a string. So in memory, JavaScript checks and said the value here is actually a number, but the value you're presenting before me is a string, and they do not match up, so that is not correct. Alright, so most cases we use the triple equality in our code base. In most cases we would always use the triple equality for safety, just so that we are actually sure, so that our code is not buggy. Alright, now else if. Okay, now what is an else if? An else if is so in a situation where we have to check another condition, and I'm just going to write this. I'm just going to say if, and I'm just going to uncomment that to say if, right, if age is equal to 50, right, console not log correct. Now if I want to check if age is another number entirely, but I do not want it to have a random number, so maybe I want to check for 52, and I'll say okay, else if, right, and then I would now add the condition age is equals to 52, right? And I'll do this and say, oh, okay, console.log correct again. Then I can end it with an else statement and say else if it is any other number. So now I do not need to add any conditions to it. Else, that means any other number that it is aside from 50 and 51 and 52, console.log not correct. Right? Now we'll clear this terminal and say node conditionals.js says it's correct. If I go here and change it to 52, right, and then run that code again, it says correct again. But if I change it to 53, right, and then run that code again, it says not correct. Do you guys see that? So now there is no limit to the amount of else ifs that you can have. You can keep checking else. You can keep checking, sorry, just wrong there. You can keep checking else if age is equals to 53, and check it's okay, triple correct. You can go on and on and on. You can say else if age is equals to 54. You can say, oh, console.log fopl correct. Sorry, that word doesn't exist. I just could not resist it. But let's make sense out of this. So we'll say 4 is a genius. Right? Then you can just so else console.log anything you like. See that? So if we keep checking, if we keep changing this number now to 4, if we change this to 54 and run that code again, it will tell you 4 is a genius. See, 4 is a genius. If we change it to 53, run the code again, it's there you triple correct. See that? So yeah, but if you do 56 or 55 for example, it will say to you anything you like. See that? So we can use else if, and all that to go on. Now another operator another comparison operator that we need to check is what? The logical or and. Right? So let's say we declare 2 numbers. Right? Okay, we have declared 2 values here. So let me just, so you are seeing this, yeah? I can just take this here. Let me just bring we can just leave it there, it's fine. So logical and. So if we want to compare 2 separate conditions, maybe they are not related, or maybe they are related remotely, they are not directly related, but we want to compare them anyway. And so maybe I want to check for the correct age and the correct name together, so that's where this really comes in, right? So I can say, oh, if my name is equal to Chris, just be sure that's what I've got there. Yeah, Chris, right? And age is equal to 52, right? It's equal to 52. console.log. What? Let's do correct. Else console let's log not correct. See that? Now let's run this code and see. Not correct. Now you see, the thing with this is that both conditions, when you use the AND operator, you are saying this both conditions have to be met. So name must be Chris and age must be 52 for it to be correct. Now if you check here, our age is currently 55. If we go back and put that in 52, because we know for a fact that name is Chris, because we checked before, right? We can then go and say check again. See, now it says correct. Name is Chris and age is 52. Right, so we use the logical and here's the thing, yeah. We can add more conditions really. You can say let's roll. Let me just use that equals to well, let's just say stack. Let's stack equals to front end, and then we can just add that again and say and stack is equals to front end. You see, so said is the name is Steven, the age is 52, and the stack is front end. If we run this code, it should be correct, right? Correct. But if we change stack to back end, and then say, it's not correct. So basically, all of the conditions that you have set within your bracket must meet for your conditions to be correct, to return a true T value, right? And all that stuff. So yeah, so that's what you want. So 2 ampersands is what forms the logical AND operator. Okay, now the other thing that we want to now check is logical OR. Right? What is a logical OR? A logical OR is just an OR statement. Yeah. Now, if my name is equals to Chris, or age is equal to 52, please console.log correct. Else console.log not correct. See that? So we have just said, now I'm giving you 2 values. If either one of them is correct, please log correct. Right? If neither one of them is correct, is when you should log not correct. So we're saying if name, so in this condition, if name is Chris but age is not 52, it will return correct. Right? So it's either one. If either of the conditions are met, it returns true, which runs the code correct. But if both of them are wrong, then it returns not correct. Let's just log that to not talk too much. See that? Correct. If I change this to 55 and run again, it'll be correct. Correct. But if I change this to Paul and then go again, you see, not correct, because none of the conditions are correct. So one condition here has to be correct for the code to run. Right? And all that stuff. So very simple and straightforward. Very, very simple and straightforward. Logical OR. So we run this logical OR using I really don't know what this is on the keyboard, but it's a straight line. It's on the keyboard just beside the closing bracket and above the enter key. That's what it is. I don't know what it's called, but that's what it is. The not operator. So how do we check? Now we've been checking if something is correct. Now how do we check if it is not correct? Simple. If my age if my name is not Steven, see what I did there? I used the exclamation mark followed by an equal sign, an equal sign, right? So what does that mean? We've just said if my name is not Steven, console.log correct. Else, that means if my name is actually Steven, console.log not correct. So now what will happen? My name is Steven actually, yeah, but what we have saved this here is Chris. So let's stop with Steven. Let's put this back as Steven, right? And then say okay, correct. Now so if we run this code and then say oh no, you see, correct, because my name is Steven. But if we now say oh Paul, correct, still my name is not Paul, right? Oh, sorry. Scheiße. Right, this would return correct, right? But Steven will return not correct because my name is actually Steven. I'm saying if my name is not Steven, say correct. But if my name is Steven, say not correct. Do you see how that works? So we write a not operator using first of all the exclamation mark followed by equal sign. There is a truth is this, yeah, in this condition there is a way to write it, right? There is a shorter way to write it. Well, I'll get there. Let's not jump the gun. I'll get there. I'll show you a shorter way to write that conditional. All right, so simple and straightforward. Not operator, we use the exclamation mark. There is a strict one as well, so we use two equal signs, equal marks. It's preceded by the exclamation mark is how you write a not. Right? Now, ternary operator. What is a ternary operator? Again, another JavaScript, another complicated name for a very simple concept in JavaScript. A ternary operator is basically a shorter way of writing an or, writing using the or. That's how I see it, right? Writing a logical or. I'm just going to write it and then explain it to you guys. Okay, so a ternary operator is written like this. You can say my name console.log correct, or console.log not correct. See that? So what we have just done, let me just let's log this to the console so we don't look like we're bamboozling. Yeah, correct. You see, let me make it more clear. My name equals to James. So that way it makes a little more sense to you. See, not correct. So what is this sorcery that we have just done? Instead of writing a whole block of if statements followed by brackets and all that stuff, what we have just done is shorten it. We have said is my name James? So it's like asking a question, is my name James? The question mark here is a ternary operator, right? So we have said, is my name James? So which is the if my name is James, we're saying console.log correct. This colon here is what separates the positive, the truthy, and the falsy value codes. Let me explain that in a better way that you understand. Right, so we have just said, is my name James? If yes, console.log return correct. If not, return not correct. So instead of using our or, logical or, we have substituted that for the colon. This is all ES6, and don't bug yourself if you don't understand it straight away. Don't bug yourself if you really don't understand it straight away. Okay? Right? The more you use it is the more you get to understand it. Actually, in everything that we have taught, if you don't get it once, it's with practice that you keep going until you get it. Okay? Now, having said that, so the ternary operator is basically us shortening the logical or statement. This is a lot more cleaner code to read. My name is equals to James. So if we change this to not, just say my name is not equals to James, and then run it. It should give us correct. Your name is not James. And that's so. That's what it is. So ternary operator. This is the ternary operator here. The question mark. Then we follow it. Usually we follow by the truthy value first. So what we want to run if it is not correct. If it is correct, rather, is what is here. But if it is not correct, then it runs this. Okay. So if this is a truthy value, this is a truthy value response, and this is a falsy value response. Just forget the terms. Just understand the concept. Right? We run two conditions. One returns a positive result and the other one returns a negative result. If our condition is met, it runs the first one. If not, it runs the second one. It's really that simple. Okay. Now, switch statements. Switch statement is something that bugs everybody out, especially beginners. I think I'm just gonna write it, so then explain. Right, so what is a switch statement? A switch statement is how we write is a way we write. So it's a conditional, is a condition, is a way, is another way we write conditional statements here. Let me just explain. So a switch statement takes a sorry, I have to take some water. So a switch statement takes a key. A key is what we want to check for, right? So let's say age, case age. So we say age. We want to check for age, which we've already declared, right? And I say case, right? And I say case 51. If it is 51, console.log 51. Console.log 51. Then we break. Then we go again and say case 52 and say console.log 52. Correct again. Sorry. Again, right? Then notice that we're using break. We need to break our switch statement to avoid loops. So we need to break it. Then case 53, right? And then we say console.log triple correct. Now we must return a default value, right? We must return a default value. And then let me just write it up. I'll explain. Console.log. This is the default value. Right? So let's see. So if we run our code, let's see. Correct again. So what that means is our age is currently 52. So if we go back to age and see, age is 52. Now let me explain this to you guys. So with a switch statement, we basically initiate it with using the keyword switch. We add the condition, which is the key of what we want to switch. We want to test our logic against what we want to the condition that we want to be met. Then we go on to provide different case scenarios of what should happen and what could happen. So for example, what I've done here is I said switch, right? And then I said age. Remember, we already declared age here and we set age to be 52. You know, if we hadn't declared it there, for example, if I comment this out, right? If I comment this out and then say age, oh sorry, let's leave that there for a moment. Okay, if I come here now and say age is equals to 55, right? So we're now saying that okay, we're providing this to you, age, this is the condition. Now we provide different cases and say, oh, if case means situation or condition, so it's like saying on the condition that age is 51, run correct. So run this code, which is console.log correct. Break means stop, do not proceed. That's what the break is doing. We say do not proceed. If this is correct, do not proceed. So the code stops running once that condition is correct. Now we now say, but if not, proceed to the next condition or the next case, as we have written a case. If the age is 52, console.log correct again. Then break. Or if not, proceed to the next case. If the condition is, if age is 53, console.log triple correct. Then, see, we made a mistake here. Break. Right? Break. If you do not add a break, it will run that and then proceed further to the next one, to the next line of code. All right. Now, we use this break statement to stop the code from running. So we say if the case is that age is 53, run triple correct. Now we use default to set a value for when all the cases we've provided are not met, which is all the conditions we've provided are not met. So if age is not 51, 52, or 53, it will result to the default value. So if I come here now and say age is 57, let's see what it gives us. This is the default value. See that? Say age is 57, and in all the cases provided here, there is no age. That is 57. So none of the cases were met. See that? So basically, this is how we run conditional statements. You know, we set different conditions. So you might be wondering, what are the use cases? You know, what are the use cases for this logical statement? Simple. So if you build a website that has different kinds of users, from subscribers to comments to editors to just ordinary users, then admin, you might want to write a switch statement for when the person who has logged in is an admin. For instance, let me do something. Let me say const user is equals to admin, right? So we come here now and say user, right? And then say admin and say user is equal to let's just say editor, right? Now if we come here and say case admin, we'll now say welcome admin, case editor. Welcome editor, case reader. Welcome reader. Right, and in the default value we say no users logged in. Simple, right? So now if we run this code and say, oh, okay, let's see, no users logged in, right? No users logged in. That means it is returning the default value, right? So case admin, welcome editor. So let's do this. So see that welcome admin, see that? So the admin is logged in. If we change admin to editor, right, and run again, welcome editor, see that? If we change it to reader, right, you see, it should give us welcome reader. You see it, welcome reader. Now it breaks. Then if we don't have anybody at all, so let's say nobody's there, it will give us no users are logged in. It's that simple. So you see, use cases are different use cases where you want to use your switch statements. Plenty of cases, even in games development and all of that stuff. So conditionals are basically how we set certain conditions for certain codes to run when those conditions are met. It's that simple. It's not a big deal. Now if you don't get it the first time, do not beat yourself up. Watch the video over and over again. Leave a question in the comment section. Send me a message. I'm very willing to give you further explanations and break it down further for you. All right. This video is already already too long. I did not plan for it to be this long, but hopefully you learned a thing or two. All right. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like, comment on the video, share to your friends, you know, so the page can grow, so the channel can grow. All right, thank you guys so much for keeping up the faith. See you guys in another tutorial. Bye.